Chapter 11 of The Wheel of Fortune by a Self-Made Man. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 11. Bert's First Canvassing Experience. Bert Hawley, provided with a complete outfit of the serial book canvasser, began his new vocation on Thursday morning in the well-to-do residential section of the city. The boy's pleasant face and ingratiating manners procured him an interview with the lady of the house in 9 cases out of 10. Each time that he mentioned the purport of his visit, however, he was politely told that the party either did not want the work, or had something like it already in the house, or gave some other excuse for declining to subscribe. But Bert was not easily rebuffed. "I would like to show you the samples I have with me," he said to the lady on whom he had made his first call. "That is, if you have a few moments to spare." "California is a wonderful country, a country of remarkable contrast, madam. The engravings accompanying this publication, of which there are several, you see, in each part are faithful reproductions of the originals, procured especially for this work at very great expense. Here, for instance, is a very fine photo engraving of the Yosemite Valley, with the Bridal Veil Falls in the distance. The valley is situated on the Merced River, in the county of Mariposa, 140 miles from San Francisco, and is nearly in the center of the state. It is about 6 miles in length, and by a half to a mile in width, and is enclosed in frowning granite walls rising to a height of from 3,000 to 6,000 feet. The waterfalls in the vicinity of this wonderful valley surpass in beauty many of the best known and most visited ones in Europe. The valley itself is almost one vast flower garden." "It has been the dream of my life to visit California some day," remarked the lady with sparkling eyes as she listened eagerly to the boy's description. "You certainly shouldn't miss it," he replied. "But next to the actual thing itself, this work will give you more pleasure and information on the subject than anything you could possibly have in your house." Whereupon the lady was easily induced to sign a contract, and was eager to learn when the numbers already in print would be delivered to her. "They will be sent here tomorrow, or the next day at the latest. Do you know, I had not the slightest intention of subscribing when you opened your sample copies, but you really have presented the matter in such an interesting way that I feel I must have the work." "You'll never regret taking it, I assure you, madam," answered Bert with one of his captivating smiles as he bowed himself out, so that the lady could not help remarking as soon as he was out of hearing, "What a nice boy that is." "This is a picture of the Mariposa grove of trees," he said to another lady of whom he had just been describing the beauties of the Mariposa Valley. "These trees are of several centuries' growth, and are by far the largest in the world. But, gigantic as they are in width and height, yet beside and in comparison with the vast perpendicular clefts of the rocks, they look like daisies beside a tall pine." "Is it possible?" exclaimed the lady, opening her eyes very wide. "Yes, madam. There are 40 parts in this work, and every part discloses more wonderful resources of California than the preceding one, so that when you have received the whole set, you wouldn't part with it for 10 times the price if you couldn't get a duplicate." "But I can buy it at any time, can't I?" "I'm afraid not. The expense attending the production of a work of this rare character compels a publisher to limit the edition to a certain number of sets. When these have all been sold, and I assure you, madam, they are going very fast indeed, it will not be possible to obtain the work." "I think I had better take it now, then," said the lady hesitatingly. "I certainly would advise you to, for the chance may not come again." Whereupon she signed the contract Bert produced. "Much obliged, madam. You are one of the fortunate ones." Bert was really interested in the work himself. He had read the 6 parts through, word for word, and his enthusiasm on the subject was so real that he communicated it to almost every one of the ladies on whom he called. His descriptions of picturesque California were vivid and alluring. If he magnified the subject matter, it was solely because he himself believed every word he uttered. From the moment he opened his mouth until he secured, as he did in most cases, the signature of the person he addressed, the listener was fairly carried away by the fascinating power of his eloquence, and Bert really had no idea of the hypnotic influence he was exercising. "Why, this is a cinch," he said to himself when he went to lunch with 7 orders in his pocket. After a good rest, he continued his route with renewed zeal. The first lady he called upon positively declined to look at the sample parts. "I have so much of that stuff in the house already," she said with a forbidding smile. But this reception did not chill Bert for a cent. "Of course, if you don't care to look at the work, it isn't for me to insist that you do so. It would really take but a few minutes for me to exhibit a few of the pictures, for instance, and I confess I should like to do so for the purpose of getting the opinion of a lady of refinement and good taste. I am introducing this work, which, when completed, will form one of the most remarkable and entertaining publications before the public, and it is my opinion your criticism will help me with other ladies not so well informed as yourself." "Well," replied the lady, impressed by this delicate bit of flattery, "I will look at the pictures if you wish. I hope that you will understand that I am not trying to induce you to subscribe, although I'm sure your signature in my book would enable me to sell many copies." Bert then opened his package and, selecting what he thought was the best of the bunch, began to turn to the illustrations, and, with much deference, asked the lady to give her opinion on their artistic excellence. "It is hard work, madam, to have to point out all these things to the average lady. Therefore you will understand how refreshing it is for me to meet with someone like yourself, whose culture enables you to see at a glance what it would take me many moments to explain and describe. Now, we will take this petrified forest here as an example. It is justly regarded as one of the great natural wonders of California. Portions of nearly 100 distinct trees of great size, prostrate and scattered over a tract 3 or 4 miles in extent, have been found, some on the surface and others projecting from the mountainside. They are supposed to have been silicified by an eruption of hot alkaline waters containing silica in solution from the neighboring Mount St. Helena." "Marvelous!" exclaimed the lady, interested in spite of herself. "You may well say that, madam. California is overrun with just such remarkable natural productions. Look at this picture. I'm sure you recognize in this the famous Geyser Springs, which are situated in Sorona County, a lateral gorge of the Napa Valley, called the Devil's Canyon, near the Pluton River." "I have heard of it." "Certainly you have, but most ladies are not so fortunate. I dare say that you know the approaches to the springs are very impressive, the scenery being finer than anything in the lower Alps." The lady nodded as if she knew all about it. "One great advantage of this work to you, madam, would be the benefit you would have in being so well qualified to describe these pictures to your friends when you showed them. Your husband is certainly a fortunate man. This seems to be an excellent work. I think I will subscribe for it, after all." Bert had his stylographic pen between his fingers and the signature book in front of her before the resolution could grow cold. Then he packed up and got out as soon as possible. End of chapter 11.